It's Wednesday, October 15th, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network presented by FanDuel. I'm your host here, Jason Cooper, alongside my producer, Jacob Gramegna. And we got a great show for you guys today. Great lineup. We're going to finally talk some college football. I know you've been aching for it, itching for it, clamoring for it. Mr. Peanut Butter is going to jump on. First segment, join the show.
Better.
Peanut Better. Did I say peanut butter?
Yes.
Hey, BoJack Horseman's a good show. It's his fault.
Great show.
For picking that name. Mr. Peanut Better is going to join. Still don't know why. Like, do we call him Mike still, or do we call him Mr. Peanut? Like, I'm bad with that stuff.
I feel like when you get to know him, you call him Mike. But for anyone maybe doesn't know him like we do,
okay,
they stick with Mr. Peanut
okay.
Better.
All right. So maybe people don't know. If I just say Mike, people are going to be like, who the hell?
Exactly. That's
who the
what
hell's
I'm saying.
Mike?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike's going to come on today to talk college. Like, yeah. Okay. No. All right. Mr. Peanut Better joining the show, talking college football. Going to talk the James Franklin firing, which is, again, talked about a little bit at the end of the show yesterday. A little crazy. Not that crazy, like deserved. Lost the room, but just like the $50 million buyout. You're like a blue blood team, Penn State. Like, things just haven't gone right for you. It's just, where do they go from here? Who's going to be out there? Who's going to be better than him? A lot of moving parts there. Not too much going on other than that this week. There's the USC Notre Dame game, which is pretty big for USC and Notre Dame if they want to make the playoffs, respectively. I think it's fair to say that the winner of that game should be, I don't want to say a shoe-in, but like have a good chance to make the playoffs. Moving on from that, a couple other stuff we can talk about in college football, but we'll save it for that segment. Jack Miller's going to come on, talk just some NFL. We're going to go run around, take a look at some injuries, some players returning, how that's going to affect things. I also asked him to go super deep in his bag this week. He's going to pull out an anytime touchdown score that he sees like pretty far down the board that he likes. So we're going to go deep in the bag, have some fun with it. And then finally, Kirk Evans joins the show. Seasoned NBA bettor, pretty smart guy. He's going to be taking us through the Western Conference, a little rapid fire style, and kind of break down the Western Conference before the NBA starts in like less than 6 days. So excited for the show today. Excited to have you guys here with us for the show today. Quick reminder before we do get into the show, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button. Goes a long way for us here on the channel. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If this is your first time watching the show and you don't want to subscribe just yet, just wait. Stick around for the whole show. I promise you, at the end of the show, you'll want to subscribe. Hopefully we've earned it. So make sure you guys do those things. Goes a long way here. Didn't really prepare anything to get into this early segment here before Mr. Peanut Butter goes on. Do you watch any college football at all, Jacob, or not really?
No, I'm like Mike when it comes to the NFL. College football, not my domain in any way whatsoever.
I've become a Tuesday and Wednesday night college football guy. I love whenever there's football on my screen. Just bad ball, but I'll watch it anyways. I can bet on it. It's great.
Well,
I love bad ball.
There's a lot of other sports I'm watching instead. Fair. I think that's the thing.
That's very fair. Chosen sports thing, I need a zin before the show. I don't know what that means. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Too excited, not enough energy. What would you make of that?
I have no idea. Maybe it's the energy. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'll take a sure. Yeah, I'll have one. You have one for me? Oh man, I see you guys in the chat. Appreciate it. Always remember, don't be afraid to comment. We love interacting in the comment section on the side. If you like us, tell us. If you don't, you let me know. I need a little boost. Listen, I'm still working through this. I feel like I look so pale. I'm working through this cold still. So, anyways, before we bring on Mr. Peanut Butter, just want to quickly remind you guys tomorrow. So I see Connor in the chat, who is a known edger. Tomorrow, we heard what you guys asked for. We're gonna give you edge work essentially. You wanted it, you're gonna get it every Tuesday and Thursday. We're gonna bring back edge work, and it's gonna be called Edge Work Overtime right here on the Hammer Daily. So what we're gonna do is our normal hour-long show. Then at the end, before we're about to close things off, we have another 30 minutes scheduled, just with Albert, with Moretto, or with So Money. One of those, two of those, maybe three of those guys going to come on, talk hockey for those 30 minutes. So yeah, if you guys like that stuff, which you've told us a lot that you do, make sure you're here for the full show and stick around at the end. We'll be going for like 30-ish minutes, sometimes over, sometimes under, But depending on, usually these Thursday slates are pretty big, so probably go over most days. Reminder, it starts tomorrow. So if you're going to want to be there tomorrow. If you're not, what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyways, let's bring him up.
We're not ready yet.
He's not ready. I thought I heard him meandering about in the background there.
No camera right now.
Oh, my God. He forgot to put pants on.
He
forgot to put pants on.
I have to delay a sec.
You know what's crazy? It's like 12 degrees outside. I don't want to call you out, Jacob, but you're wearing shorts.
Yeah.
It's fucking cold.
Well, it's not cold in here, and I don't want to wear shorts in here outside, and it's a 5-minute walk for me.
Okay, fair.
When I'm inside my apartment where I'm inside here working, I don't want to be in pants. You're right though. It was a little dicey for me today to wear the shorts to work.
Yeah,
it was a bit dicey this morning.
We're in Canada. You're the classic guy who walks to like. You always saw him on university or college campuses who was like, it's like -3-degree weather. There's snow on the ground, and this guy's wearing a winter jacket and shorts, and that's what you were.
I wasn't that guy. There was another guy who was that guy that I was friends with. But I think in middle school, I was that guy.
Okay,
but I drifted away from it a little bit. But it is starting to get a little nippy out here, finally. Not that it's a good thing, but we've been blessed with some really good weather in Toronto this year.
I cannot complain about it at all. I can't complain about it at all because you know what? Best part about it getting cold is that I get to stay inside and watch more sports. So what am I going to say? No to that? I'll definitely say yes to that.
All right. I think we got him.
All right. Mr. Peanut Butter. You've seen him on Circle Back. Maybe if he has headphones, it'd be nice too. You've seen him on Circle Back on the Friday show. You're going to see him on Circle Back this Friday as well. You've seen him all over gambling Twitter. Seems like he's not at home, not at his desk. Mr. Peanut Butter, what's going on?
I am at home running some technical difficulties.
It's all good.
So I have to hold my phone up, like they did in the old days.
Like they did in the old days is a crazy statement. But, yeah, I love it. Let's get right to it. I appreciate your commitment and your effort to work hard, get in the corners, dig a little bit, and find a solution. Love that stuff. Love to see it. You're almost Canadian at heart, it seems like. 11th province, ? Anyways, biggest thing we got to talk about here off the top, firing of James Franklin. I mean, didn't come as much of a shock after you lose 3 in a row, 2 to UCLA and Northwestern, who are you were double-digit favorites for both. I mean, give me a breakdown of this entire scenario, these last 3 weeks for Notre Dame or for Penn State, for these Penn State fans. What's the temperature check there? What's going on? Tell me about this, how this all kind of unraveled.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. 3 weeks ago, he was leading in overtime versus a team and was probably, at that point up there as one of the national title favorites. And then 3 weeks later, he's fired, which seems like a crazy result after 3 games. But obviously, this has been a long time coming, kind of been building to this. With everything that's happened, I don't think that James Franklin can't win a big game. I think that if you were giving him unlimited runway, eventually he could, but you don't get unlimited runway, and things clearly were starting to get stale, and whether he could in a perfect environment is kind of meaningless at this point, because at that point the boosters kind of gave up on him, and it seemed like, with everything that was going on in the franchise, it just felt like everybody needed a fresh start. So I think he's still a very good coach. I would be cautious on Penn State, thinking that they're definitely going to upgrade in this situation, but things had gotten so toxic that I understand the move.
Yeah, it seems like the room he lost the room as well. He lost the boosters. He lost kind of everything that you need for college football, for a college football team to be successful. So who would you consider to be, let's call them, I don't want to say favorites, but who would you consider on a short list? If you had to come up with a short list for Penn State, you're getting hired right now, a little contract work for you. Who would you have on this short list? Give me 3 to 5 names.
Wow, that's a lot of names. So I'll go with Matt Rule, decent chance. He's from the area. He recruited there when he was over at Temple. I would say that Manny Diaz is a name. He was a DC there before he went to Duke. I think that he kind of had a rough situation in Miami. It was a situation where they weren't quite ready to win as a program. So I think he's a pretty good hire. And, there's higher names. They keep throwing out names like Freeman and a few others. I don't think that they're going to get one of the main guys. I think that they're going to, Franklin was quietly the 20th highest paid coach, which isn't going to exactly get you the biggest name. I don't think that they're spending at quite the highest level in the Big Ten compared to Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan. they're certainly the tier right below that, and I think that they're going to get a very good coach. But I would, caution against them thinking they're going to steal somebody from, say, Mike Elko was thrown out there from Texas A&M. I would rather be at the Texas A&M job right now than I would Penn State. So I think that they're going to get a good guy, but I would probably look a little bit younger than trying to get, one of the bigger names here.
Yeah, they look younger. Don't know if you can look internally like what UCLA did. That seems like more of like a flash in the pan. I saw some stuff about like Kurt Signetti maybe going there. I feel like that's like maybe just too out there. I don't know if that's believable. Let's flip over and let's talk some week 8, college football week 8. Wow, every week I come on here and I'm like, is it really that week? Yeah, it's week 8. All right, biggest game on the board, the one that I'm most interested in, the one that I'm most excited to talk about, USC Notre Dame. Pretty important game for both teams. Simple as that. It's almost like a like I don't want to say a win and you're in, but it feels like these are the toughest schedule, the toughest game upcoming for both these teams. So like it's pretty important for both of them. Give me a breakdown of this game. USC feels like they're pretty big underdogs after what like looked like a pretty good performance against Michigan. They're laying, I think, 10 points here on the road. Do you agree with this? Is this too big of a number here against a Notre Dame team? What are your thoughts on this game in general?
Yeah, so USC also does have Oregon at the end of the year here.
Yes.
I think that they probably have to win one of those two to have a shot at the playoffs. Certainly, if they win both, I would say they're pretty easily in. But Notre Dame, this is their last tough test. If they win this game, yeah, I would say they're probably over 85% to make the playoffs at that point. I think it's, 10 points seems about right for this game. USC obviously had the bounce back versus Michigan. They have had some problems in the secondary. The one place that you would want to have problems in the secondary is playing a team that hasn't realized the forward pass has been invented with Sharon Moore. But I would say that Notre Dame, what they've shown kind of after the past two games, they've looked like one of the best teams in the country. I would guess by most power ratings or however you want to do it, like the market consensus rating on them is within the top 5 of all football teams in the country right now. So I think that they're a really good team. I think that USC is a pretty good team. So the 10 makes sense on the road there. And especially Notre Dame kind of knowing it's their season here.
Yeah, for sure. This USC game as well, the total's like relatively high, 61.5, two high-powered offenses coming in here. Do you think we can see this total creep up as the week goes on?
It's certainly possible. Notre Dame, you think of this kind of, more punishing style. They have Love in the backfield, but they've really been a more offensive team this season. They are getting some reinforcements back in the secondary. Moore comes back. He was out most of the season. He hasn't been very good since coming back, but a lot of that could be rust and things of that nature. They had their other corner was out as well. So Notre Dame's defense is improving, but they've been an offensive team so far this year. And USC, obviously, I think that they probably have the best offense in the country, but unfortunately have around a 40 to 50th defense.
All right. Well, you know what? Sometimes they say their best defense is a good offense, and scoring points wins games. So I'm going to be laying that plus 265 on USC come Saturday, and I'll be watching the game. It'll be a lot of fun. 7:30 Eastern time. A couple big games in the SEC. Seems like a lot of games this season have been kind of close games within the SEC. We have Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, LSU, Vanderbilt. Let's start with Tennessee and Alabama here. Alabama at home, 7.5 point favorites. Totals at 58.5. Break down this game for us here.
Yeah, so I think it's just one of a bunch of games in the SEC here that are maybe not the highest level teams in the country, but they're in that next tier of maybe 5 to 12, where you just see the depth in this conference. And so far this year, their margin of victory has been approaching, I believe it's either smaller than or close to the same size as the NFL this season in terms of margin of victory, which is something you don't see usually. Obviously, Alabama, Georgia have been piling up those big leads. So I don't think that they have quite the teams at the top in the SEC, but their depth, other than maybe Kentucky and Mississippi State, is deeper than it's ever been in terms of just like Vanderbilt now is decent and things like that. So Alabama, Tennessee, you said specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that Alabama so far this season has, after that weird Florida State game in the first game of the season, is a little bit weird in the fact that you can put in a lot of new wrinkles. I'm sure that Gus had a couple things cooked up there that Alabama didn't have the chance to prep for now that he's with Norvell in a certain situation. So it was also raining on the road. I think since that game, they've probably been one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the country. Ty Simpson looks like he might be the best quarterback in the country. Certainly the best. He's the only quarterback in the SEC that I trust pretty consistently to make plays. So I think that Alabama is pretty commanding here. But like I just said, the margin of victory has been small in all these games, and it's been more upsets than you would see in the past.
Yeah, I want to pull on that thread a little bit about the margin of victory being so small. Do you think that's more of a function of the SEC being like, I don't know how to put this, like head and shoulders like above everyone else, and now it's like really tight where we're gonna head into the playoffs and see just the SEC absolutely dominate because of how good the conference is? Or is this just like a function of the lesser teams within that conference, and maybe this is all of college football, where like the middling teams, we'll call them, have now just like significantly improved, or we've seen them improve for whatever reason? Like, what do you think this is a function of?
So I don't think their top teams are particularly better than, like I would say, the top three of the Big Ten is better than the top three of the SEC right now. I think the bottom of the SEC is much better than the bottom of the Big Ten. And I think one of the reasons you're starting to see these teams condense like this is the quarter. So the SEC, if you just lined up roster to roster, I would still say they have a significant advantage over basically everyone in the country, pretty much throughout up and down the conference. But where the difference is they don't have very good quarterback play. Particularly, they have a bunch of guys who are these dual threats who are pretty good, but you don't trust in third and 7, 3rd and 10 or more. So they don't have guys who can consistently make plays within the pocket. So a lot of times I think that creates a situation where you have teams that are up and down from one week to the next.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense here. Let's flip over and talk some Big 12 here. Texas Tech, they're the team to beat within the Big 12 here. They have a I don't want to say they have a pretty smooth. I don't want to say smooth sailing. It's not too tough. Pretty middling strength of schedule for the rest of the season. They face Arizona State, which is their probably second toughest game remaining. Who of these teams, and you can include Arizona State in this, who of these teams coming up for Texas Tech are going to be able to slow down this like high-powered, prolific offense that we've seen out of Texas Tech, where they can just like absolutely run up the score on anybody? Do you see anyone being able to do that before this college football playoffs here?
No, I don't see anyone, slowing them down to a significant extent. I think that it's going to have to be kind of a back and forth game if somebody is going to catch up to them. To be honest, I think that the bigger problem for the teams around the Big 12 is blocking that defensive line. And I think that we've seen a lot of teams kind of get overwhelmed by that defensive line, especially later in the games is, Texas Tech starting to get that lead on you, and then you're down 2 scores and you're passing it more, and those guys get to pin their ears back. So I think that Texas Tech is basically the way to beat them would have to be some team getting in the lead, kind of controlling the game from that standpoint, and then hopefully being able to keep that offense that is so fast and prolific, as you said, off the field some.
All right, I love it. I love this Texas Tech team. They're a fun team to watch. They're just like, I love good offense. I love good ball. They just absolutely churn, and put up points, which is incredibly fun to watch. They're 17-1 right now to win the national championship here. We've seen them kind of trickle down over the last couple of weeks. So if you like them, I don't see a loss for them on the schedule. And even if they do lose, they're probably going to win the Big 12 championship game. So they're going to make the playoffs almost certainly. If you like them, you might want to take them soon, because we've seen their odds trickle down week over week. Anything else you want to touch on here that we haven't really touched on? Any like interesting notes that you're looking for towards the end of this college football season? Anything you want to track, maybe where a team is kind of like down and out, but you want to see how they finish the season, so like to prepare for next year or prepare for bowl season?
I think it will be, well, I guess one, I would say we keep bringing it up, but I think it's so interesting this year's Heisman case, because I keep waiting for a guy to break out, and I think it might be the worst Heisman winner we've had, or I shouldn't say worst, but it might be the least impressive in terms of stats and kind of what he's done from preseason expectations to now that we've seen in quite some time. I can't remember one recently that's had a year like this. So nobody's taken it yet. There's a chance, obviously, somebody kind of breaks out here. I thought for a second maybe Mateer would, for that Texas game. That seemed like it was a chance to pull away, but we haven't seen anyone do it yet. Like Simpson has probably been the closest one since he's recovered since that loss in Florida State. But other than that, it seems like it's been pretty back and forth. Carson Beck is up there in the Heisman odds. I don't know if he has enough chances down the end of the schedule to really make a name for himself. So I don't know. It'll be wide open. I think somebody will probably jump out, but if not, it could be one of the weirdest years in terms of Heisman voting we've seen.
It's so milquetoast in terms of like who's separate. Like no one separated themselves. It's as simple as that. Do you think like it almost always goes to a quarterback, and like if you're a skill position player, you have to do something almost like extravagant, great to win this award. But with how poorly, I don't want to say how poorly the quarterback. It's not like because of poor play. It's just like uninspiring, I guess. I don't know what the correct word to describe it is, but it feels like, again, like you mentioned, there's no real player separating themselves from anyone else. Do you think this is like a year where you can see someone deep down the board who's a skill position player win instead of a quarterback?
So I think that this year for quarterbacks, it's been a lot of new guys as part of it. Is we like to have the year before the year where you kind of separate yourself and put yourself on like the watch list or whatever. I don't think so, but just because I think that when a guy comes from wide receiver like Travis Hunter, they usually go and take the award rather than it kind of falling to them. And I haven't seen there's really nobody that's kind of even in range of that right now. People keep talking about Bain Jr. for Miami. I don't see it. So yeah, I think that it's probably going to go to a quarterback on a team that is probably number one seed, and it will either be Sayan or Simpson will probably be the two guys that I think probably have the best chance.
Mm-hmm. And just like going back to like, I feel like Travis Hunter is like an anomaly, so you can't really reference him. But Devontae Smith, 2020, won the Heisman. I think he had, I think, 1,800 receiving yards, 1,800 receiving yards, 23 touchdowns.
COVID season too,
yeah.
So it was a little bit different in that regard. And but I will say Genty was second last year. So not only did you have the first place winner, you also had the second. And we've had more guys that aren't quarterbacks, kind of in that 2 to 3 range lately. It seems. I haven't ran the numbers, but
I think that's like a pushback from like maybe the voter. I don't know what it could be. But hey, maybe my boy Mekhi Lemon, who's absolutely been cooking some secondaries, maybe he gets his name in the ring there if he can put up a few more counting stats. But yeah, Mike, appreciate you joining us here today. Do you prefer if I refer to you on the show as Mike or Mr. Peanut Butter? We had like a little bit of debate about this before we started.
Mike's no, I feel embarrassed every single time I have to say Mr. Peanut Butter.
All right, so. Mr. Peanut Butter.
We'll go perfect.
With perfect. Thank you for letting me know that. That's great. All right, Mr. Peanut Butter, thank you for joining the show. We appreciate you. We'll talk next week.
See ya.
I feel like he's suffering from the old school sort of, your gamer tag you made when you were 10 and now you're an adult and
yes,
you're stuck kind of with what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm just laughing because he's like, I love Mike. He's a great guy. Great sport.
It's too late to change it. He knows he's stuck because he's got this alias and he's recognized for it. I'm sure he's got like partnerships with it, but
it's
he's in too deep now.
He built a great brand.
He did.
It's his fault. He built a great brand. No one to blame other than himself. Chat loves Peanut Butter. Chat loves Mike. We all love Mike. He's a great guy. But I gotta keep calling. If he gets embarrassed about it, I gotta keep calling him that. That's what friends are for. Up next, Jack Miller's gonna be coming on and joining the show. If you have any prop-related questions in terms of the NFL, don't be afraid to fire them here. We always read your comments. We want to keep you guys in the mix here. So if you want, feel free to do so in the comment section over on that right side of the screen. Before we bring on Jack, though, I just want to give you a quick shout out to our sponsors over at FanDuel. Hockey is back, and FanDuel is giving you a shot at boosted winnings when you make a bet on all the action on the rink. Because right now, all customers have a chance to score big with a 50% profit boost. Just make your pick, apply the boost, and if it hits, you'll get extra winnings at no extra cost. And with FanDuel, you can bet on goal scorers, assists, points, saves, and so much more. Plus, you'll get paid your winnings instantly. Ready to play your game? Just visit FanDuel.com/forward progress to get in on the action. That's FanDuel.com/forward progress to claim your 50% profit boost. You can score big on your next hockey bet with FanDuel, an official partner of the NHL. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas and affiliation, Kansas Star Casino, 19 plus and physically located in Ontario. or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelpline.ma.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. All right. Let's bring it on here. We got Jack Miller joining the show. NFL fantasy betting and projections over at Established to Run. He's a sports bettor and he's a friend of the show. Jack, how's it going, my friend?
It's going well. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to this.
All right. I told you got to be deep in your bag today. You got an anytime touchdown scorer for us later on in the show. So hopefully you picked it out. Hopefully you cooked it out. We'll get to it at the end, but just want to remind you, just in case you forgot. Let's dive right into things, though. First guy I want to talk about here is this Kansas City wide receiver grouping because Rashee Rice back in the fold, finally off of his six-week suspension. We assume he's going to be 100%. I assume you have him as, like, when he comes back, there's going to be no issues there. He's going to be back 100% to what he normally is. What do you foresee the three wide receiver sets be for this Kansas City offense? Because we've seen Tyquan Thornton look pretty good as a deep threat. We've seen Hollywood Brown look pretty decent as well. It feels like it's between those two guys here. If you had to predict, what do you think the three wide receiver sets would look like for this Kansas City offense?
Yeah, we're projecting Rashee to be pretty close to 100%. I do think there's a little bit of a question mark. I mean, he had a really rare injury last year. It was a PLC, not a PCL. They're different. The PLC is like a very rare injury that never happens. And so it'll be interesting to see if he's actually at 100%. But all the reports from training camp and throughout the preseason were that he's looking really good. Now he's had, an additional 6 weeks to get back to true 100%. So we're assuming that he's going to be good to go. And then Xavier Worthy, you'd have to think at this point, has also locked down pretty much a full-time role on the outside with Rashee Rice. And so that leaves Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Tyquan Thornton kind of vying for one spot. I think it's going to be a pretty ugly rotation with those guys. Thornton has really played too well to completely zero him. And Juju Smith-Schuster has actually played a little bit more than Hollywood Brown over the past couple of weeks. Obviously, they're different types of receivers where Juju provides less downfield explosion and maybe more of a safety blanket than Hollywood Brown. But the Chiefs have been leaning into Juju, playing more snaps and running more routes than Hollywood in the past couple of games. And so I think that they're probably going to be splitting the wide receiver 3 duties, and then Tyquan Thornton is also going to be rotating in. So I think it's going to be Rashee and Worthy, clearly the top 2 wide receivers. We're assuming Rashee is going to be the wide receiver 1, Worthy wide receiver 2, and then the other 3 guys kind of vying for scraps behind those 2.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense here. I kind of thought maybe we would see a lot of Tyquan Thornton because like we heard all offseason about how the Chief offense wants to like not evolve but get back to like that being that deep threat, being like wanting to push downfield, looking for big plays, and Tyquan Thornton was able to do that. So that's why I was kind of thinking maybe Tyquan Thornton, but I guess it depends on what they're trying to do in each game here. Let's flip over and talk the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I feel so bad for them. They've had so many injuries, have to deal with so much adversity throughout the season. Baker Mayfield looking like an absolute dog. Emeka Egbuka gets hurt this past game. Seems like Mike Evans might be back though. How does this wide receiver group shake out if Mike Evans is back? If he's not back, it's going to be even messier. What do you think happens here? Is it going to be some Sterling Shepard, Tez Johnson? Who's going to be the guys to watch in this wide receiver grouping?
Yeah, if Evans is back and if he's actually healthy, I think he's going to just put up a monster target share. We saw the volume when he came back last year was without Godwin was pretty awesome. And I think there's really no reason to expect anything different, assuming he is healthy. At this point, it seems like it's pretty up in the air if he's going to play. There was some, I'd say, semi-encouraging quotes on him playing, but I think it's pretty undetermined. So we'll just have to see what happens there. If he's out, it would be Tez Johnson, Sterling Shepard, and likely Cameron Johnson based on what we saw this past Sunday. They also have Ryan Miller, who has played ahead of Cam Johnson in the past, but when Ibuka left on Sunday, was Cameron Johnson filling in as the wide receiver 3, and so I think that's kind of what you have to expect. I think Tez Johnson and Shepard would be the clear top 2 there, but I really think Cade Otton would ascend into pretty much the de facto wide receiver 1 or the top target earner is maybe a better way to put it. Last year when they were kind of dealing with all the wide receiver injuries to both Evans and Godwin, and before Jalen McMillan had fully broken out, they were really leaning hard into Otton. He was putting up like 20+% target shares every week. It was honestly pretty ridiculous volume for, he's a fine player, but he's not like an alpha tight end like some of these other guys around the league. But just given the state of their current wide receiver core, I think they kind of have no choice but to lean back into Otton. He had a big target share on Sunday. 26% target share on Sunday. He hasn't been as featured this year in the offense as he was in Liam Cohen's offense last year, but the snaps and the routes have still been terrific all season long. And then we kind of saw last week when push came to shove, they really started force feeding Otton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that as well. Plus Fred Warner got hurt. It was like a perfect matchup mixture right there. Let's keep going. Let's keep talking. Kyler Murray and Jacoby Brissett. We don't know if Kyler Murray is going to be healthy this week, but that's not the only injury that we're monitoring for this Arizona Cardinals defense or offense. Marvin Harrison Jr. seems to be. We don't know if he's going to be out with a concussion this week. Usually with these concussions that they suffer on Sunday, it takes about a week for them to recover. NFL doesn't like to rush players back from concussions. Not a good look for them. So, couple things. Who do you think is outside of Trey McBride? Who's the next man up here for this wide receiver grouping in Arizona? And then also like Kyler Murray versus Jacoby Brissett. Like we saw when the announcement of Brissett starting, when he was ruled in, I think we saw the line drift out to like 10 and a half. Indy, I think it was around 7 before the news was finalized. Is there like almost too much of a difference in market from Jacoby Brissett to Kyler Murray? Because it didn't seem like Kyler Murray or Jacoby Brissett, he was able to run that offense decently well. I think a lot better than the market expected there. How big of a difference do you guys have between Jacoby Brissett and Kyler Murray?
I think there's a difference, but the line did get out to I think 10 at one point, but it came back and closed at 8.5. I think, and I think the 7 was kind of middling it,
yes.
And it would have closed less than 7 if Kyler was in
For sure.
and healthy. I still think there's a difference. I know Jacoby Brissett operated that offense pretty well on Sunday, and they really leaned into the pass, which I think is even more interesting for projecting these pass catchers moving forward. With that being said, assuming Marvin Harrison is out, which I think he will be, most of the concussion guys have missed at least 1, if not 2 games so far this season. We're projecting Michael Wilson, Zay Jones, and Greg Dortch to just be really tight in target share. It was Zay Jones leading the way on Sunday, but Michael Wilson missed about a quarter. He was dealing with a finger injury. It kind of looked like he wasn't going to return at all, and then Marvin Harrison got hurt, and they put Michael Wilson back out there. So I think Michael Wilson would be the wide receiver 1 if Harrison is out. Zay Jones, I think, would be opposite Wilson, but prior to Sunday, he had really struggled to earn targets on the season. He'd been out there a pretty good amount, but he was just not really getting targets, kind of just doing cardio out there. And then Greg Dortch would be the slot-only guy, wide receiver 3. Solid target earner, but doesn't really play into wide receiver sets. So I think we'd project him 3rd just based on playing time.
All right, let's continue with this Arizona team. Chat's wondering about the mush, the mixture, the mess that is the Arizona running back grouping. We saw Mary DeMarcado get hurt. So it's like Michael Carter, Bam Knight. Right before the game, it was announced that Bam Knight was going to be the starter. He didn't even end up starting. Michael Carter ended up starting the first drive, which is kind of hilarious. But Bam Knight seemed to get more of the valuable work. We saw him get worked in at the goal line. Michael Carter used more in like a 2-minute drill pass catcher sort of role. Where do you see? How do you see this backfield shaking out, or is it just going to be like a 50-50 mess depending on like situations?
Yeah, Michael Carter got a bunch of the work in the first half, and then I think Bam Knight ran better in the first half, and so in the second half, it was mostly Bam Knight on the early downs. Once DeMarcado got hurt, it was pretty much all Michael Carter on pass downs. 3rd down, 2-minute, it was all Michael Carter. Assuming DeMarco's out, I think that is definitely going to stick. They didn't really seem to have any interest in using Bam Knight on the pass downs. I think based on how the second half went last week and how, Bam ended up out carrying Carter, I think 11-9, and it was a wider gap than that in the second half. I think you have to project Knight as the carries leader. How wide that gap will be, I think, is pretty up for debate. And we kind of saw on Sunday them lean into the hot hand approach where Knight ran better in the first half, and then he got the vast majority of the work in the second half. So this could be a thing where, Bam Knight gets 6 first half carries, Carter gets 3, and if Carter's running better, they lean into Carter in the second half, just like they did the opposite of on Sunday. I definitely think Carter gets the pass downs. The rushing work, I think, is much more up for debate.
All right, makes perfect sense here. Might be no hot hand in this game against Green Bay. Very tough run defense there for the Arizona Cardinals. A couple more questions from the chat. Someone's asking about how are we attacking the Patriots backfield, one of the worst run defenses in the league in terms of just both rushing and covering running backs with this Tennessee Titans defense. Antonio Gibson gets hurt. You think finally TreVeyon Henderson has like a path to playing time? Nope, that's not happening. Give the guy who's fumbled like 12 times in the last calendar year. Let's give him the ball more in Ramondre Stevenson. It seems like Mike Vrabel's going to be stubborn, and like that's probably going to be your answer. But like, what do you see this week with this Patriots backfield?
Yeah, I think pretty much what we saw on Sunday is what I'm expecting this upcoming week, where Ramondre got the majority of the pass down stuff. They don't really seem like they trust TreVeyon Henderson to pass protect yet. Henderson did still out target Stevenson 2-1, and it seems like they do try to get Stevenson a couple of easy targets every game. But Stevenson's out there just the vast majority of the time. I think he's the RB1 for now. And I think Henderson is kind of just the change of pace guy where he's still going to touch the ball, but so far he hasn't really challenged Ramondre for that lead back role.
All right, gun to your head. If you had to start TreVeyon Henderson this week in fantasy, would you do it, or you would just like look to the wire and try and do something else?
I mean, if the other choice is the waiver wire, I guess I'd start Henderson, but I would prefer to not start Henderson.
Okay, I had to ask that. All right, let's get into your deep cut anytime touchdown score. I ask you to get in your bag, so go dig in there, take a look. What did you pull up for us here?
Yeah, so I went on FanDuel, and they only have the Thursday game and the London game up for anytime touchdown score at this point. So my options were a little limited. I went with, it's not that deep of a cut, but Darnell Washington to score a touchdown. There's 340 on FanDuel. There's Bettor elsewhere. I'm just mentioning the FanDuel number because I think this is like a FanDuel show or something. But anyway, Darnell Washington, 21% route share week 1, 15% week 2, 13% week 3. The past 2 weeks he's been at 60 and 61%, and Mike Tomlin has been extremely honest about his usage. He basically said, if we're playing a 4-3 defense, we're going to use Darnell Washington over Pat Freiermuth. They played the Vikings and the Browns, and both of those run 4-3 defenses. Tomlin said in advance of the Browns game that they were going to use Washington over Freiermuth as a result of that. And then he said, I think Monday or Tuesday, that the Bengals also run a 4-3 defense. And as a result, we're going to continue with the same plan. We're going to keep using Darnell Washington as our lead tight end. And so he's been running a bunch of routes. His targets have been way up. And so I like leaning into that recent change with the matchup thing as well.
What an incredible grab. That, like, I asked you to get deep in your bag. It's not that deep in the bag, but like the matchup angle that you pulled out of that is incredible. The coach speak that you grabbed from that is incredible. Plus 340 right now on FanDuel. If you want him first touchdown 16-1, last touchdown 15-1. I know I'm going to be stealing that for our Thursday night football watch along. I'm just going to yoink your analysis and pretend it's my own. I'm kidding. I'm going to obviously give you credit for that, but yeah, I'm playing that. So that's all that matters. Let's hope we can get it home though. Let's hope we can get it home. Jack, I appreciate you doing that for us. Appreciate you joining the show. We'll talk soon.
For sure, yeah. Thanks for having me on.
All right, see you, Jack. Go follow him on Twitter at Jack Miller 0202. 0202. Do Americans call it zero, or is that like a? Is that?
I don't know. They've surprised me before.
No, it is. I'm thinking of Z and Z. Never mind. That's what.
Yeah, but in many ways, I get surprised by the common terminology used. It's not often, sorry, but every now and then.
Maybe they refer to it as nil. Who knows?
No.
Let's who do we got next? We got Kirk Evans, who was I heard him before in the background, like moseying around there. It sounded like he was struggling. I got to ask him about that. I hope he's doing okay. Before we do that, though, just want to give a quick shout out to our Discord here. Not sure if you guys know or if you've heard, but we have a new Discord here at the Hammer. There's almost 1,000 members in there right now, chatting, discussing, finding deep little angles you can target, throw darts at. Rob's even in there giving out his fares on some primetime touchdown scorers as well. So you're gonna want to check it out. You're gonna want to check it out. All you have to do is head to discord.gg/hammer, and you will join the Discord. It's as easy as that. Very, very easy stuff.
Link is in the description.
Link is also
make
in
it
the
even easier for you.
There you go. 2 clicks away. 2 clicks away. All right. Up next, Kirk Evans.
I don't know what he's doing.
I'm here.
know,
Sorry. I thought I had the screen. I'm so fucking bad with technology. Who knows?
This sounds like you're bouncing a basketball. Are
Yeah.
you okay? I didn't even get to
Yeah. Someone upstairs is doing fucking construction.
Oh, great to know.
How bad does it sound?
No, I
It's
mean,
really
What a
good for my
great show
sleep.
we run in here today.
are you okay? By the way, you chat couldn't hear this. At least I hope I couldn't hear this. But you were behind the scenes here, and you were like, like struggling. What's going on? Is it like a bad back? Is it like the stairs are tough this time of the morning at like noon? Like, what's going on?
I didn't realize you can hear me. I assume like you can only hear me when you like add me in.
Not
So
only
I'm
can
just
we hear
moseying
you,
around.
but whoever's the guest that is in the middle of speaking would also be able to hear you. So Jack Miller probably heard you coughing in the background.
I feel bad for the guy. He gave a great segment too, powered through it like
Hey,
an
didn't
absolute
even
champ.
flinch. Didn't even flinch.
I
Did
flinched.
well.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I thought someone was in
All right,
Jack's
good to
room with him.
know.
Anyways,
Good to know. How bad is this fucking banging?
I mean, it's pretty bad, but what else are we supposed to do?
We're gonna survive, and the chat will survive too.
Yeah, what else are we gonna do? I'll give you a couple on your head next time you come in to studio here. All right, we're supposed to be doing I also didn't even introduce you. You're an NBA bettor. You're fresh off a turkey binge, which I wanted to like say because it was Canadian Thanksgiving. Like, hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
I'm not really a Thanksgiving guy. To be
All right,
honest.
well, never mind. There goes everything I worked towards and built for this show. Let's talk about some Western Conference teams. You want to do a little Western Conference preview here. We're going to do it rapid fire. We're going to go 3 teams at a time, and you're just going to give me like a little bit of a breakdown on them. We already talked win totals previously. If you have any other bets on them that you like, whether they be player-based or team-based, you tell me if you like them or not. But yeah, let's do like a quick rapid fire breakdown of the Western Conference, starting with the Jazz, the Suns, and the Kings.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about the Jazz last time. This team's going to be very bad. Very young team. Lauri Markkanen potential trade. Walker Kessler also hasn't gotten a contract, so he also could get traded. But like we talked about last time, 18.5 wins is just too low. I would still take that over. Let me see what the current exact odds are here. But yeah, I think they suck. I don't really think you're gonna get anyone arguing. Yeah, I guess 19.5 minus 110. I would definitely still lean over there. I don't think anyone's gonna argue that this is gonna be a good team or even like a surprising team that could be in the play-in. But I just think they win 20 to 25 games. You know, they're good enough, and if any of the youngsters hit, they should easily get to this win total. Who are the bottom 3? Utah, Phoenix, New Orleans?
Jazz, Suns, Kings.
Jazz, Suns, Kings. Ooh,
Yeah.
Kings are in there. Okay, Suns. Yeah, a pretty uninteresting team. Another team I would probably lean to the over. So they don't have their first round pick this year. This team is kind of like your friend who has a sibling who's 20 years older than them. They're just a total accident. They were built to be a contender. So they have like Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, all these guys, but they just completely sucked last year. So they're starting to blow it up. I doubt Booker gets dealt, this season, but a Booker trade is probably coming in the next few years. So yeah, they're just not good. Their team, I think, is going to really struggle defensively. Mark Williams has been hurt. He's barely been practicing. Jalen Green's not going to start the season as well. So I lean the over just because this is a team that's not going to tank. But otherwise, they're just not particularly good. I think the win total is pretty fair. I don't have a bet on them. The Kings are the most boring team in the entire league, so we don't really need to talk about them much. They just signed Westbrook. They're just like a mixture of random NBA vets. I have no idea what they're doing. I don't know what their plan is. They're not going to be good. I lean their win total over. It doesn't seem like a team that's tanking, especially considering they just signed Westbrook. Not that he's going to be like a big addition, but it kind of shows to me that they're probably gunning for that 10 seed. And if they're gunning for the 10 seed, they probably will go over wins, but God, are they boring.
All right, boring team. Seems like all these teams towards the back end are just not interesting as designed. That's probably why they're at the bottom here. Up next, we have the Trailblazers, Pelicans, Grizzlies. Let's do more rapid fire style, though.
You need me to go faster. All right, Blazers are definitely they're a back end team who's interesting. A lot of guys who could kind of take a leap. Denny was really good at the end of last year. Pretty much the crux for them is, can Scoot, who's hurt to start the year, or Shaedon Sharp really take a leap? And if either of those things happen, that they should be fighting for a play-in spot. Klingon also could be a legit defensive stud. Team with like a good future. They want to probably win some games. I'm not sure that they can get to 34.5 wins.
All right. Anything with the other teams?
Pels. Yeah, Pels are also kind of no pick. I bet they're over some. Zion has looked really good in training camp, seems to be skinny. He's kind of the crux. Then DeJounte Murray, who I don't think is very good, should come back mid-year. And what was the last team?
Grizzlies.
Grizzlies. Yeah, Grizzlies is a team. They're a very interesting team. I'm super high on the roster, but their three best players are hurt to start the year, and Ja, Jaren, and Edie. Ja seems like he could be back to start the year. So I would say like the first 5 to 10 games for the Grizzlies are more important for them than any other team in the league. I think that they start reasonably well, they will compete and should make the playoffs. But if the wheels come off early, I could see it being a Memphis year from like 2 years ago where everyone was hurt and they just went into the tank.
All right, a couple more fun teams in this three little bucket that I pulled for you here: the Spurs, the Mavericks, and the Warriors. I know you're high on the Warriors. Let's talk Spurs first, though.
Yeah, these are three very fun teams that I actually have bets on all of them. Mm-hmm. Spurs, really, it's how good is Wemby? Is he like a 7 EPM player or more of like a 4? If he's like a Giannis level, Shea level, Jokic level player where he's, truly on pace to be potentially the GOAT, then they're going to be really good. It's hard to have a player who's that good and not be amazing. I'm just not sure he's quite there yet. And the rest of this team, I think, is very bad. Fox, every day that goes by, I think the Fox trade looks worse and worse. Castle, has upside. I'm not sure exactly he's going to be a good player this year. Dylan Harper, I like a lot, but again, he's a rookie. I think assuming any rookie is going to help your team other than maybe Cooper Flag is not something that's really reliable. So I think the rest of the team's bad. I think Wemby is very, very good. I could see him winning MVP. I have a little bit at like 20-1, but the rest of the team I think is bad, and I do have their win total under. The Mavs, I talked about them last week. I think the guard depth is very bad. I think the forward depth is really good, but I just can't get there with how little I expect from Kyrie. And the Warriors, I think the Warriors are loaded. If they have a decently healthy season, they're Jesus Christ.
What the hell's going on there? What are they doing?
Who fucking knows?
Is this above you in your
apartment? They gotta be in your room.
Yeah, no, it's above me. It's got to be like the room above me.
Yeah, for sure.
Warriors are awesome though. I don't. They're all guys who are older, so I think that's why you get them so low, like win total so low. Even to win the West is pretty low. I've considered betting them championship, but OKC's just so good. We'll get to them, but yeah, I'm very high on Golden State.
All right. Well, it's all good. Oh my goodness gracious me. Listen, if you wanted to come up with a bit to promote your newsletter, Kirk's Hammer, you could have done it like a million other ways than this, but like I appreciate the bit. It's good stuff here.
That actually is a really good call, but also this guy has been going for like legit 8 hours.
What do we do? Maybe you should call someone. No, like call your building.
His lunch
obviously
break,
shouldn't be allowed.
I agree.
Obviously, you shouldn't just be allowed to hammer over someone's building all day. No warning.
Do you have a hammer in your place?
No. I'm not really toolsy like that.
All right, I was just gonna say maybe I'll bring you a hammer and you can start hammering back.
That's a good idea, but then I think it would just be annoying for the guy below me. I don't think it would matter for this guy.
All right, let's just cook through these last 6 teams. Holy shit! Or maybe we save it for next week. Like I don't know. What do you want to
do? You tell me. I honestly am like noise canceling, so it's not as bad for me. It is for
you. Have
guys.
noise canceling headphones. Must be nice. These definitely aren't noise canceling. They pick up everything that your mic's picking up. I wish that we could get noise canceling microphone for our freaking our viewers here. This is crazy work. You know what? We should just had you in studio. Why don't you just come in studio?
Yeah, you're right. I could do that. All right, we've got some no hammer. Let's go through
quickly. Timberwolves, Lakers, Clippers. Go.
Yeah, Lakers. I think LeBron is going to have a very rocky season. I think he already has his injury. I don't think he's happy with the Lakers. I'm pretty bearish on the Lakers. Clippers, I think is awesome. I bet them to win the division yesterday. I just think the team is so deep, so good. Kawhi's healthy to start the year. They were incredible last year. And then the Timberwolves, they're like a good boring team. I don't really see much reason to be super high or super low. I think Gobert is a bit of a swing piece if he's losing it on the defensive end, but they should just be very solid, but not quite the upside case.
All right, let's close out with the top 3: Rockets, Nuggets, and Thunder.
So the Rockets are one of the more interesting teams in the league. They're going to play a lot of double big. They might be playing like a bit of a different sport out there. They're just going to miss a lot of shots, grab the rebounds, and then miss more. The defense has been absolutely horrific in the preseason. I think the Fred injury was a big loss. They don't really have much guard play or shooting. We'll see about Reed Shepherd. I don't know if Ime Udoka is a huge Reed Shepherd believer. We'll see. But yeah, I'm probably a little lower on them. The Nuggets, I think the Nuggets are good, but I just kind of think they're a bit overhyped. Like I don't really see why they're, you can get them 8 wins above the Warriors, 6 wins above the Clippers. I just don't have them that much better than those teams. So I'm low on them in terms of market, but like I still think they're a very good team. And then OKC, I've bet a lot of championship. They're just way better than any other team in the league. They're very, 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 very good. They're young. They're getting better. There's no reason to think they're going to be worse. Even their older players don't matter that much. Like Caruso is obviously amazing, but if Caruso falls off or is hurt, they're still easily a championship level team.
All right. Appreciate the little breakdown there. You're going to be joining us, I believe, next Wednesday as well. Hopefully no construction above you. If so, do us a favor, come in studio. You can just come in regardless if you want. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think is there 15 NBA games on this opening on Wednesday? Lot of
it can't be 15, but there's a lot.
Oh, 12. Well, anyways.
12.
Whatever.
12 makes sense to me.
All right. 12 NBA games. It's going to be a lot of fun. Absolutely loaded slate. We're going to be talking it through with you, hopefully on the Wednesday. Excited for that because NBA is going to be in full swing we're less than a week away. So, Kirk, appreciate you coming on here. Are you going to be giving us some bets for that this upcoming Wednesday? Like not now, but like on Wednesday if we bring you on, you're going to.
I don't see why not.
All right, there we go. That's what I like to hear. So this is the perfect promotion. We got hockey back. We got NBA back. We are officially almost in the full swing of things. You can follow Kirk on Twitter at KirkEvans0. And listen, I'm going to plug his the newsletter Kirk's Hammer, which comes out every single Friday. He did a big bit for us here to get his newsletter promoted. But yeah, I was going to promote it anyways, Kirk. Anyways, Kirk, we'll talk. See you on Monday. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll talk soon.
See you on Monday.
All right.
Later, guys.
Good stuff. All right. Awesome stuff there from Kirk. We appreciate him.
You never know what you're going to get on the show, guys.
That was hilarious.
And neither does the producer who has to try and work through all of it. we were doing some production stuff beforehand, so we had some changes to the show. And then Mike comes in, his camera's not working, and he comes on late. Kirk comes in, some guy's hammering. It sounds like it's coming from his room. Just that's brutal. But hey, we got through it, and I think it's still a good show.
Yeah, I thought it was a good show too. I just couldn't believe that it was happening. But it was. I you would think that he would have made a mention of it to us, though. No.
You'd think, but he's been doing content this like 2 years, and he still can't tilt his camera down enough that his head's in the middle of the screen.
At one point, it looked like he was drowning. he's like so far.
He just keeps
thinking,
sinking away. Also, it's a testament. He doesn't have a great microphone, so maybe we need to get that sorted for him.
Yeah, you know what? Like he's just he's too young to have these like problems, though. No, like.
Yeah, well, the microphone not his fault, but like the camera stuff maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Anyways, that wraps up the show for us here today. Do us a favor, smash the like button if you haven't. It goes a long way for us. You're on the channel. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you didn't stick around for the entire show because, listen, that was not our best showing, but I thought it was a good show regardless. The guest could be, a little bit. We'll button up the guests a little bit more. I'll give Kirk a little shakedown next time. Be like, buddy, what are you doing? Come on here. I thought I had a good time regardless. I thought it was funny. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Ring that notification bell to be notified right when we go live. We're live, noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. And that's about it. Up next at the Hammer, we just have today. Nothing too big here. Just on the Circles Off channel, we have is it Circles Off Life of the Capper? Yeah,
yes.
It is. Life of the Capper. A little bit of advice from some pretty sharp guys out there. So back from when we were in Vegas, recorded a bunch of videos. This is one of the ones. It's going to be a good time tomorrow as well.
That's coming up at 1 p.m. today. So that's coming up in 4 minutes from the time we're recording live. So make sure you head over to the Circles Off channel with the link in the description. Check that out at 1 p.m.
Yeah, and if you're like me, you need something on while you're eating and you're still eating. This is where you got to go click there. Click there. All right, next up next tomorrow, we have a couple great guests, including Hitman, who's going to come on. We have Anthony DeBundo, who's going to talk about some Colts, some Thursday Night Football, a little bit of MLB as well. And then Peter Appel also coming on to talk some MLB. We got a lot of stuff for you guys planned tomorrow. Oh, wait, I forgot. Edgework Overtime. That's happening as well. So make sure you're there tomorrow. We got a loaded show. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to want to be there. And you're going to be participating in the chat because it makes it better for us making the content as well. That's about it for today's show. This has been the Wednesday, October 15th edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by FanDuel. We will see you guys right here tomorrow.